Hey everyone, what's the crack? Lawrence here with the long-awaited round La Prima and Forte button boxes. We've got a load of round rims here as well. We're going to look at the existing Formula wheel, the Forte and the La Prima, and I'm going to tell you about the upcoming Invicta wheel. Let's do this. So as you can see, I have a ton of these steering wheels here. We're just going to put them to the side for now. We're going to look at them in just a moment and we're going to open these. And just for reference, I'm going to put the Forte steering wheel here in front of the Forte button box and I'm going to put the La Prima here. So these are the existing Formula rims that we're already familiar with. The differences, and again, you're going to have to forgive me here because I've got the XL grips on here and I've got a little kit from Pineapple Grips that gets rid of the orange on the La Prima so that you guys get a good sense of what that looks like. But it looks pretty cool. I like the kind of stealthy look of that. I'm not a huge fan of the orange, but we'll talk about that more in more detail in a little while. The main differences between the La Prima and the Forte are you're missing some of these thumb encoders. You're missing these toggles at the top as well, so you don't get these toggles. You don't get these encoders. That is pretty much the main difference between them. You have the same amount of buttons, you have the same amount of rotaries, you have the exact same 7-way hats here as well, and you have the exact same shifters. So the clutch paddles, of course, are an extra, but they're the main differences, and we're going to see the exact same differences with these button plates for the round rims as well. So that's what I'm expecting. I'm not expecting a huge amount of difference there. We are going to be comparing them to these as we look through, as we open up the boxes. The main thing that I'm excited about is those wheel rims. How do they fit together? How do they attach and what do they feel like? I think that's kind of the main thing that you guys want to know about as well. We're going to go through pricing and all that stuff as well. But this is kind of just a little bit of a background and we will get to that Invicta wheel later. I can't tell you too much about it, but it is some exciting news. And of course, I'm expecting the quick release to be built in on these as well. I don't think that it's a detachable quick release. These ones also not detachable, so you can't put an extension shaft on these as it stands right now. So that's just something to be aware of. But again, that might change in time, so do check that out if that's something that you're looking to purchase. So let's go for the Forte. On the box, it tells you that the steering wheel is not included. It's quite a light box and it's their typical Asetek packaging. So let's get that guy out. So in the box, it's a little bit loose in there. Maybe it moved in transit a little bit. There's a little bit of a gap there. This is my first time opening the box, so I'm not aware of, I'm not sure what, oh, we've got a shifter in here. The shifter is there only one shifter with it? Oh no, there are two shifters, okay. This one seems to have come loose from its packaging over here and ended up over here because of the magnet. But that's should be absolutely no issue. We're going to have to install these shifters ourselves. That's a very, very simple process. So, and on the back, we can see those slots where we can put those shifters in. You can also put clutch paddles in here and you can put additional panels up at the top. So the Forte, as expected, has the toggle switches at the top. It has the extra rotaries. It only has 2 rotaries. These extra thumb rotaries. The Forte wheel, if we look at the Formula wheel, it has extra ones up at the top as well, but obviously due to space restrictions they couldn't put those in, so that makes it a little bit more similar to the La Prima, but you do get these at the bottom. They're not blanked off. It does look nice. It's lovely and light, and I'll concentrate on that in a bit more detail as well, because the lightness of these devices, even though you don't get the initial beautiful kind of material that you might expect from a steering wheel these days, the fact that they're so light makes them translate the force feedback from the Forte and Invicta and the La Prima steering wheel bases so much better because there's just less rotational mass and that really, really, really makes a difference. I can't stress how much it makes a difference. As fancy as, you know, your Gomez wheels are, and your Solpec and your Cube controls and all those nice kind of heavy steering wheels, you kind of need a lot of force feedback. When it comes to like the 12 Newton meter or the 15 Newton meter, sorry, the 12 Newton meter or the 17 Newton meter, you really feel the difference with one of these super light button boxes. So that's just something to consider when you're looking for the best possible force feedback. As for the styling, I have to be honest, I was never the biggest fan of the styling, but I don't know, is it growing on me, or is it just the fact that I like the products? Is it giving me a bias towards it? That lightness definitely helps. The orange, I'm still not convinced about the orange. I think the main thing about the orange is that it just clashes with the logo a little bit. The logo is red. I'm not sure why they didn't go for red. I know they kind of wanted to be different, but all their cars, their track cars that are sponsored and stuff, they're red as well. So they've got the Asetek logos on them. So I thought I would have expected it to be just a little bit more, yeah, a little bit more branded like that. But the overall design, the overall feel of it is, yeah, not what you'd expect from a high-end steering wheel. The pricing, of course, is not high-end. In my opinion, it's fairly mid-end pricing, but the functionality is top-end. The functionality you get with these steering wheels is absolutely incredible. So there's no real concern there. Functionally, even though stuff feels a little bit plasticky, functionally it's absolutely excellent. So I wouldn't worry about that aspect of things, even though it would have been something that I would have called out as well in the past. Just from using them over time, the feel of everything is really, really good, and I'm actually really happy with the products. So as expected, there's not too much to report there. Let's get rid of this Forte box and let's open the La Prima. I'm expecting more of the same again. So here we go. Okay, we've got the box again. We can see this has traveled in the box again. They did email me and told me that that was a known issue, that stuff was coming loose in the boxes, and that they fixed it. It doesn't look to have done any damage or caused any scratches whatsoever. Let's pull these shifters out and let's put those off to the side, and let's grab the box, put it off to the side, and let's put the two of them side by side here. And of course, for reference, I've just put the La Prima behind the La Prima round button box, the Forte behind the Forte here. So initially, the carbon fiber effect on the Forte is noticeable. You've got just a standard aluminium here. What else do we see? Obviously, we've got the orange buttons on all. Again, my La Prima has little button caps on it, so you don't see the orange. Everything is identical. All of our encoders, even the spacing of those encoders is exactly the same. Our 7-way hats are all the same. We've got our blanking plates on the La Prima, much like what we had with the Formula wheel. These LEDs do get very, very bright. When you put on the stickers that are supplied with these, when you put them on the LEDs, they become a lot less bright and a lot more, I don't know, they're quite nice, quite functional. One thing that I would have loved to have seen on these would have been backlit buttons. I'm just a sucker for backlit buttons. I like when I race in the dark a lot, and I like being able to press where the light is rather than having to remember that the button is under the light. Complete first world problem, but that is just how I feel about it. But as I say, functionally, that's never really been a big issue, and these have been absolutely excellent functionally. So I'm expecting the exact same from the round button boxes as well. On the round button boxes, this is where we're going to be connecting this steering wheel up. So there are 2 at the bottom, 2 at the side, and 2 at the other side. That's what they've been talking about with the 6 bolts. 6 bolts, you can change all your steering wheel around. So now for the really exciting bit. The pricing of this is ultra competitive. For a European product and a product of this quality with such a growing and rich ecosystem around it, this La Prima button box comes in at €279. That's subject to your local taxes and stuff, but under €300 for the La Prima and under €400 for the Forte. Now you might think at a glance the only difference is the rotary encoders here are missing on the La Prima, and you've got the little fancy carbon fiber effect on the background. You've also got these toggle switches at the top, which you don't get with the La Prima, And of course you've got all these extra flag LEDs and lights over the buttons. These lights, you don't get any LED lighting here other than your rev gauge. So that might be enough for some people, and especially for VR users, this is absolutely perfect. For those of you who want those flag lights and you know, your various lighting up above the buttons, the Forte might be a better option. At under €400, I think personally that it's still very, very cheap. If you buy a generic kind of a plain button box that won't come with a quick release, you're already, you know, up at around €500 usually for something that's any way decent. So I think this is exceptional value. I'll let you guys judge and decide that for yourselves. The next thing to do is get those steering wheel rims, because we have a lot of them to go through, and we'll go through each one of them individually. We'll discuss the price of all of them, and we will attach my favorites to each one of these. So let's start grabbing these boxes as they're ordered here on the ground, no particular order. We've got the open D shape, or C shape as some manufacturers call it. This one has black leather, and it's got lovely perforated leather here and red stitching, so that is very nice. Then we've got the open D shape, the genuine suede. So the suede, and they've already warned as well that this suede is going to wear over time. All suede does, so don't expect this to stay beautiful. You can use it with gloves, it might protect it a little bit more, but I'm not expecting that to stay beautiful. I've never had a suede or Alcantara wheel that does last the test of time. All of these steering wheels are €119, so €120 for each one of these steering wheels. There's one exception to that. I'll go through that one in a moment. This is beautiful as well. Closed D shape, genuine black leather with a red center stripe, so it's got that kind of rally style stripe on the top here. The grips look lovely on this. Like, that's for €120. I think that is great value, considering with the, you could couple this with the La Prima. For this is €120, you'll be at €400 for the full steering wheel, and that is a very high quality steering wheel. So it's pretty impressive stuff. This one here, which is absolutely gorgeous, right up my street, it is a properly round steering wheel. The reason I love a round steering wheel is for rally and drifting. I think that I just love having a round steering wheel. Maybe not so much for rally. A D shape is fine for rally, but for drifting, I love letting the steering wheel slip through my hands. Something like this, a leather steering wheel. It is genuine leather. It does have an orange center stripe, and it's got, I think, the orange stitching as well. So, but it's beautiful, very nice. Next up, we have probably the most controversial of the lot. I'm not sure how I feel about this. How do you guys feel about this? I don't know. Maybe the orange color. I don't know what it is. But even if that was red, I'm just not a huge fan of this. This always reminds me of a little bit Fast and the Furious. It's like something that they would have put in a Supra in the Fast and the Furious or something. I don't know. I'm sure the quality is lovely. I'm sure some people absolutely love it. It will go well with the orange color scheme of the button boxes, but it's not fully for me. Again, that's all €119. Then we have one that is an exception to the rule for the €119. This one is €160, €159, and this is a round shape Comfort Plus steering wheel. So it's got black stitching, red line on it, and it's made, I think it's the suede, or else I'm not sure if it's Alcantara or if it's suede, but this is the more expensive model. So if you're looking for, I'm not actually sure if I'll prefer, where have we got the round, where is it? I'm not sure which one of these I will prefer. I will definitely be installing one of the round ones. I think the leather, I don't know, does the leather even look that little bit better? I don't know. We'll have to take them out of the box and figure that out. So just to show you how each one of these will be packaged, we're going to open this up here. We've got the no limits packaging, same as what we have come to expect from Asetek now. Open that up. Each one of them comes in its own little bag, so you do have a protective bag that will of course house the button box as well if you want to store it like that long term, and that is lovely. Look at the complexity of that grip. Check that out. It's actually got a super like detailed grip on it. I wasn't expecting it. I have seen them at the expo, but this is one of the reasons that I love having stuff in my own house where I can give it my undivided attention, as opposed to at the Sim Racing Expo where it's just not the same. Look at the grips, the perforation on there is very nice. That is orange stitching and an orange center line, but it's a very burnt orange. It's quite nice. That looks very nice. In the box here, we get our little product manual. We've got some warranty stuff, and we've got a couple of bolts and a little Allen key as well. I'm going to take them all out of the boxes. I'm not going to put you through that, and we're going to have a heap of steering wheels here in just a second. There we go, a stack of steering wheels. Right, this is the first of the D-shape. The leather feels super nice on it. Definitely a very nice option. Little bit of padding, not a lot of sponge in it, but it feels very, very high quality. Liking that. Let's compare that to the suede. Real suede, you can see, you know, the little bobbles that you'd see on suede, but it feels, I mean, it feels absolutely lovely. It really does feel good. It's like, it's not quite as smooth as Alcantara would be, but it feels smooth to the touch. It doesn't look as smooth as Alcantara, but you can see the suede lines as you push on it. You can see that this is good quality material. We've got black stitching on it. Very nice. Then we move on to the first of the leather D-shaped rims. This one has the red line on it. It's very nice. This will be a great rally rim, I think, especially for those of you who have the wheelbase maybe close to your knees. This is a good option, so you don't get that extra round bit. For me personally, if I had the choice between a D-shaped and a round-shaped wheel, I will almost always go for a round-shaped wheel. So, but that is very, very nice. Then we've got our controversial one, well, I'm causing the controversy here. That is not for me. I think it's impressive, I think it's cool, and I think it's just awesome that they have something for everybody. I love that they have some imagination with this. And one of the things that they said to me at the expo, which was just very striking, is that they actually want people to make their own steering wheels. They want people to at least have the option. And for me, all I feel when I hear things like that, when a company gives you the option, like what they're doing with their quick release, to use other steering wheels, that just suggests to me that they trust their customer. The customer is going to do what they want anyway, right? They're going to buy the products that they want. They're going to mix and match. They're going to combine whatever way they want. So the very fact that they're accepting that and even enabling it, like you can make you could 3D print a steering wheel if you want, and you can attach it to one of those button boxes. So if you can only afford the button box, but you can't afford to buy a rim with it, you can just make your own rim. It's pretty awesome. I love the philosophy of it, and I love the imagination with this. It's not just the same old boring steering wheels. Speaking of boring steering wheels, this is probably my weapon of choice here. It does have the orange on it. I would be even more delighted if this had the little red line and red stitching, but this looks and feels incredible. That could be my weapon of choice. That's very nice. And then the Comfort Plus. So this is also, again, I'm not 100% sure if this is real suede. It looks slightly different. The material looks slightly different. If we grab that other suede. So this one says genuine suede on the box, the D-shaped one here, or the C-shaped one. But if we just compare those, you can see there's just a slight difference between them. The round one, it's not as bobbly. It's slightly different color as well. Catches the light maybe slightly different. Now that might be me just over analyzing it. I think that's going to be my choice. That's got to be my choice. It's lovely. I love the red round rim as well. I think that's my choice. That, of course, it would be the most expensive one, but I'm going to put that on my Forte button box, I think. So let's grab that Forte button box here, and this will simply slot in there like that. And then all you have to do is those 6 bolts at the back. Just put those bolts together, and that's it. And that will be I think that's going to be my rally and drifting steering wheel of choice. So one thing to note when you're doing this, and this is just from my experience with changing the grips on the La Prima steering wheel before, these shifters will sit here in the middle slot and your steering wheel connects here. So I would imagine if I just grab one of these shifters, I would imagine that once this is installed, yeah, that covers where the steering wheel is going to be. So that's why they've delivered these with the shifters not attached, so that you attach the steering wheel rim first before you attach the shifters. So just remember that. I'm going to do that. What's going to be my second choice though? Before we do that, let's choose the second. So for my La Prima box, I think I should go with a C-shaped steering wheel, because the round and the D shape are just a little bit similar. So let's put those away. So then it's going to be a choice between, oh, that was a shifter that was magnetized to it. It's going to be a choice between these two C-shaped steering wheels. And for me, I think the leather is just slightly nicer in that steering wheel. Just for me, maybe it's the red stitching, but that leather is super nice. So it's interesting to see them have a mix between red, black, orange stitching. On my La Prima here, let's put that in here, and it's going to be as simple as that. That is fairly nice. There are 6 bolts. I don't know if they need 6 bolts as such. It seems like a lot of bolts. They could even, I don't know if they've ever looked into it, but they could even have a quick release mechanism for these rims. That would be very, very cool if you could do that. Or even if you had just little plugs that would plug in here, so that you wouldn't have to do up any bolts. I don't know, that's just me thinking about it. I'm going to get these all assembled, do a little time lapse for you guys, and then we're going to get them on the rig. Thing of note, when you are installing these shifters, you need to get into this hole over here. That means you need to loosen this slightly. Now don't loosen that too much. What this allows you to do is to slide this out. So that's for your shifter adjustment, your position adjustment. But that has a little nut on the inside, and that nut, if we just go like this, is extremely easy to lose. Where is it? Have I lost it already? If we put that bolt away a second, put this here, you can see here, that slides like that, but if you're not careful, it slides right out the bottom there, and that's not what you want. You don't want to lose this guy, because otherwise that shifter paddle is likely to come off. So it's pretty annoying. It's not an ideal solution. So yeah, it's just a bit frustrating. Be careful when undoing this. Only undo it like a quarter of a turn, and that should be enough. So I'm in the rig. This is not like the way I usually do this. I've done a good bit of driving already. I've just saved you guys the kind of back and forth and figuring stuff out. I'm going to give you guys a quick just demo of what I've found, what I've observed. The steering wheel grip, I chose the Comfort Plus. It's relatively thin here, but that's also not a bad thing as such. I can only compare it to other steering wheels. I'll have to do a race and really see how this feels in a longer term race. As for it being a D-shaped or round, doesn't affect me, but for drifting, this is absolutely perfect. Or for rally even, I like to let the steering wheel go in some of those windier corners where the back end steps out. Coloring easily accessible through the app. The Race Hub app. You can change the, I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera, but there's a subtle color change when you press these. You can configure all of that. So that's really nice. You could change these encoders to be either single input. So if you turn it right, it's one input. If you turn it left, it's another input. Or you can have them as positional inputs as well, which is again really cool for engine maps and the likes. The thumb encoders, there are 2 thumb encoders there. They're quite good. They're a little bit of a reach, but with a round wheel and a larger wheel, it's always going to be an issue, because if you do compare it to the Forte steering wheel, this one here, the Formula wheel, you can see it's less wide, so it's a lot narrower, but everything is a lot more within reach. And as you'd expect, the quick release aspect of it is just absolutely excellent. Same as what you get with the other steering wheels. Super, super easy. The nice thing about these quick release, the OEM style quick release, is that they're all the exact same length. If you do take another example that I have just over here. So this is the round steering wheel that I was using, and you can see that apart from the wire mess, you can see that it's slightly longer. I'll put the 2 of these side by side. You can see that the aftermarket quick release that Asetek provides is just that little bit longer. So it means that you've got slightly more distance than you would if you were to use this one. It's just slightly closer. So right now it's kind of set up, I kind of like it this way. So I might have to just change some distance, or maybe even just get used to it like this. Let's put on the Prima wheel. You can see this quick release is just so easy to use. This would be great for the likes of IndyCar. Very, very comfy. I haven't changed any of the colors on this. I did do some driving with it, and it drives absolutely excellent. The steering wheel quality, I have no concerns. This is all hand stitched, and the quality of it, yeah, again, I just have no concerns. I think it's really good. I think that they're all inspected and maybe even touched up before they leave. So there's a lot of manual, a lot of work goes in to this. So the price again is just is super impressive. You don't have those extra encoders, you don't have those extra lights, and yeah, it's a really, really cool. Whether I'd buy a C-shaped wheel, I don't know, but I know that many people love them. So I am going to try and learn to love it. I don't know if the size is slightly larger than what people usually get in a C-shaped wheel, but that's all stuff that you guys can research. I'm not an expert on C-shaped wheels. I do have quite a lot of experience with round rims though, so using round rims, yeah, this is going to be my bread and butter. And I'm absolutely loving that. That native solution is really good, really nice. So compared to, I'm just taking this kind of relatively generic rim. This has kind of little indents on the back. This doesn't have those finger indents on the back, and it is thinner there. So we'll see how that goes over time, because I like a steering wheel like this to be kind of the same thickness all the way around. It's just a little bit thinner here. So, and I'm not sure how this kind of undulation here, how that's going to affect me while I'm driving, especially while I'm drifting. I didn't, in my little bit of testing here, it didn't really cause an issue, but I don't know how comfortable it would be long term. I think I do prefer something that's just a little bit less engineered, a little bit simpler, but that is just me. This has quite some ridges in it, but this would be nicer for if you're doing some circuit racing. This is definitely, if you're racing TCRs or something, this is an absolutely, it's a better design. For drifting and rally, for rally probably this is good as well, but for drifting I think just a pure round would be very, very cool. I would like to see them come out with just a very, very simple does nothing button box, but I mean the La Prima is, even at the €280, under €300, kind of a no-brainer. I think this is, yeah, that's me just thinking out loud. I don't actually even know if they need to come out with a functionless button box. but I think people would buy it. I just don't know. And with the La Prima, you've got less lights on here. You've got mine looks slightly different, as I say, because I've got the customization of the pineapple grips, little inserts on here. I've got the little button caps on there as well. So if I was to take these off, you'd see the orange buttons underneath. And I've got the XL grips from Asetek, which are very nice. If you like the GSI grips, the big chunky grips, these are definitely for you. So if you've got big hands, or if you just like that chunky grip feeling, they're very, very good. I prefer the slightly smaller, I think. I kind of go back and forth. That's why it's great to be able to have the Forte and the La Prima here. I go a little bit back and forth. When I'm sitting here, the chunky grips feel better. When I'm driving, the less chunky grips feel better. That's just my opinion. That's just the way I feel about it. Just trying to communicate everything that I know to you guys. As for the round rims, yeah, I've done limited numbers of laps. I absolutely love how they feel. I love the concept of it. I love that people are being trusted to do their thing. It's a great moment. I think that this is a defining moment for Asetek. And what I mean by that is lots of people knew that they wanted Asetek products. They knew that they wanted to be in this ecosystem. It is better than Simucube from an ecosystem point of view, and many say from a force feedback point of view as well. This is a significant moment because most people want a round rim and a formula rim. To date, they only had the option of formula rim. You can get the combo now if you want to, if you don't know what to decide. Something like a C-shaped wheel like this is a really good compromise. But if you want a round rim and the formula style rim, or if you want just a basic round rim and you want you want to use your Gomez or your Asher or whatever steering wheel you have, now you can. So I think this is a very, very important moment for Asetek. I think that their orders are going to go through the roof now because people see the vision, people see the steering wheels in the hands of reviewers and customers, and that's exciting. That's super exciting for them. I think that I wish them every success. I'm a fan of lots of brands. I particularly like Simagic and Moza. I think they're doing an amazing job. It's almost impossible for a European company to compete with the pricing. They have to make up for it with marketing and customer support and after sales service. But this is matching it for the pricing as well. I mean, the La Prima steering wheels are like €400 and the Forte steering wheels are €500. That's very affordable. Like, very affordable. So yeah, it's exciting times. I think that their sales are going to go through the roof, and I think that everybody who uses this and tries it and owns this is just going to be absolutely delighted. I can't see any other way about it. So this is usually the part of the video where I end it, but I promised you guys a little bit of info about that Asetek Invicta wheel. You guys will know that I have the Invicta wheelbase and I still haven't reviewed it because I'm holding out for that Invicta wheel. The difference between the Invicta and the Forte steering wheel is going to be, the formula steering wheel is going to be that screen. That is going to be the major difference. There are some other subtle differences, but it's going to be a significantly different product. It's going to be up another level again. I saw it. It has a screen. The screen is SimHub compatible and also Asetek's proprietary software compatible. So you don't have to use SimHub, which is absolutely epic. Looks gorgeous. It doesn't weigh a ton. It's actually really nice. And I don't know what else I'm allowed to say about it. I can't tell you guys the price. I can tell you it's going to be very competitive. And I can also tell you guys that it's going to be out most likely within the next 6 months. Now, these are things that came up in conversation and that I was told I am allowed to share with people. This is not official information. If their timelines have changed since I spoke to them last month, that is, so be it. This is just what I know right now, and I just want to share that excitement with you guys because I got permission to do so. I hope that gives you all the information that you need about these round rims. As far as I'm concerned, just do it. It's a great purchase. It is absolutely awesome. If you're trying to decide on an ecosystem and Asetek looks like it's for you, they're at that moment now. This is the turning point. I think that these things are going to be sold out day one. That's just my gut feeling. I think that's what's going to happen. Remember to give your thoughts in the comments below, like and subscribe and all that nonsense. I'm Lawrence. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday. I'll be using this equipment live on stream. Please join me. For now, I'll chat to you later.